Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. Alright, so still sporting the Orient Blue Mako, and if you're interested in the accuracy, I checked it this morning, it was +7, so +7 a day, which is not bad at all. When I got it, it was something like, I want to say it was like 20, 25, and so it slowed down a bit. I don't know if it's settled, I don't know if oil is drying, I don't know if it'll speed up after a little bit of wear. It's been in a box for probably, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months. So what is this video about? Well, I've been thinking about the Schiter. Okay, well, that's the way I'm going to pronounce it. Maybe I can sidestep Google not analytics, the Google police there. Actually, I don't think that's really necessary, but I think Schiter sounds a little bit better than the alternative. At least a degree more family friendly. So, defining the Schiter, that's interesting. Yesterday I was thinking about it, and I was thinking value had a lot to do with it. And I was actually thinking of this watch, and I was thinking the fact that this watch is $170, and there's a lot going for it. And then I was comparing it to something else, something like a Squale, which is $900. And I was thinking that's just, comparing these two watches, there's just not much value with that Squale. Now, this Squale's got some, good points. This has mineral crystal. Well, a Squale would have a sapphire crystal. But I nixed that idea. I don't think value is subjective, and so I thought, well, hold on a minute. I'm a person that's paid quite a dear price for some Rolexes, and there are quite a few people that would question the value of a Rolex. So I think it's a dangerous proposition to equate the Schiter with value. Value being very subjective. All right, so back to the drawing board. How do I define a Schiter? Well, this isn't a comprehensive definition, but I think one thing that you have to take into account is it a real watch company? Okay, is it a real watch company? Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, there's a movement in here that is made by Orient. Okay, this Orient watch, the heart and soul of it, the movement was made by Orient. Now that seems like that's the way it should be. That the most important part of a watch should be made by the company. That's a responsibility that the company has to not outsource that. Now, given that definition, something like a Squale, I think would certainly represent a Schiter, okay? They're dead in the water without a third party to sell them a movement. Okay, that's just a factual statement there. Are they a real watch company? I mean, that's a good question. Are they a real watch company? Now, I'll let you guys suss that out in the comment section, but that's one factor of a Schiter. Not even having the ability or integrity to make the most important aspect of the watch. Okay. Another sign of a Schiter, I think, would be outsourcing. Well, the more outsourcing that happens, I think the shinier it gets. But outsourcing the entire process, I think, is a sign of a Schiter. Now, Orient and Rolex and quite a few other good brands, they have their own factory, and there are a few companies. I just mentioned one, and another one would be Steinhardt, which I'm not as anti-Steinhardt these days. But Steinhardt doesn't have a factory. They basically essentially order their watches So you've got an office somewhere that designs the face, perhaps checks boxes of certain color schemes that are available at that factory. They place the order. The factory sticks in a third-party movement, and we talk about something like a Steinhardt or a Squale with the same reverence as something like an Orient, where that process happens at their factory with their movement. Okay, so when you're ordering your watch from a factory that you don't own, that's a sign of a Schiter, I think. Okay. What are some other? Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I think when you pay money for a name, so you can poach its history, that's a sign of a Schiter. Okay. Now, let's while I'm at it, and I've brought up these two brands that I love to bring up and I love to have issues with, because they deserve to have a bit of honesty. Okay, let's talk about those two brands. Okay, so Steinhardt versus Squale. Now, I sort of lumped them in a category of Scheiters in the past and one and the same. Has my opinion changed since then? It sort of has. I'm not as anti Steinhardt anymore. I still think that they are sort of order-made watches, don't use their own movement. But there's a degree of honesty with Steinhardt that I really respect. All right, so Gunther Steinhardt, founded the company and he makes the watches, and there's no sort of pomp or attempt at a fake history. Okay, so there's no attempt to poach a name and to then attribute a history to the stuff he's putting out, and that's something that Squale is guilty of. And did I mention the price of a Squale? $900. $900. I mean, my God, if you're going to buy one of these watches, at least keep it under $500. 170. Right? 500 is too much, but 900 that's you got to have your head examined if you're paying 900. I mean, you're a quarter of a way to a really good watch. Anyway, food for thought. Man, my arm's shaking. It's killing me. Got to get my selfie stick. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.